I'm Thomas Barker. I look after digital analytics for the personal and business banking side of the Royal Bank of Scotland. I've got plenty of job titles depending on who you ask, but for today, I'm going with data and analytics lead. I've been there for 4 years, and I've been very lucky to do a few different jobs there. So I started off in digital marketing, and I've moved across into analytics. So I can give you the perspective from both sides of the fence. Now, when Pep asked me to talk 3 months ago, and he said, do you want to come out here? Do you want to come to Estonia? Do you want to come represent? Obviously, like, who doesn't want to do that? I'd love to. So I said yes, and then about a month ago, he sent me another email saying, all right, Tom, what are you actually going to talk about? I was like, oh, okay, good question. And he just said to me, look, talk about something you're passionate about. And this is what I'm passionate about, right? Not rugby, even though it is the best sport in the world, before anyone asks. I am passionate about rugby, but I'm passionate about teams. I'm passionate about changing teams, getting them to perform better, and changing cultures. Now, for those of you who didn't know, last year, 2015, Rugby World Cup, it was in England, and England was shite, right? Beyond bad. I paid hundreds and hundreds of pounds to go to their games, and they lost a lot. We're the first ever team to go out in the group stages of a Rugby World Cup on home soil. So that's kind of the background to the story. Have we got the Australian? Is he still here, or she? So you know what's coming? All right, good. So that was last year, that was the Rugby World Cup. And then at some point, in between the UK doing absolute madness with politics and having the worst football team result you've ever seen, nicely summed up by Boris Johnson wearing an England football shirt there for you, something amazing actually happened on the Saturday. And that's this. In less than a year, the England rugby team had gone from absolute terrible, lost the World Cup, everyone was devastated, to the first time ever, they flew down to Australia and they beat them 3 times in Australia. Never been done before. And the amazing bit is they didn't actually change any of the players. All the same players. Most fans were saying, why are they the same players? But all the same players. They changed the culture. And that's why I really want to talk about to you today. And I think everyone needs a definition in their slides these days. So here's mine. What is a culture? It's the ideas, customs, and social behavior of particular people or society. So I'm not going to, really go into the amazing testing and how to do it and give you the tips. I'm going to tell you how RBS approached culture change and how we changed what we did as a bank. Because this is what it ultimately boils down to for me. You should test that, right? Agencies tell you, the conversion rate optimizers tell you, it's a great book. I'm sure most of you have read it in this room. For us, it was really about, can we flip it? Can it be? Can we test that? And then more importantly, did we test that? Okay, nothing should go live, nothing should really be changed without saying, can we test it? Did we test it? A real change in mindset for the way we approach our analytics, the way we approach our optimization. So what I would like to do with you guys today is take you on our journey. It took us about 18 months, 2 years, but I'm going to take you on the RBS journey of how we went from essentially nothing to what we consider quite advanced, and we're quite proud of ourselves, actually. It's been a rough time for the bank, but we're proud of what we've done. So I'll touch on building a brand, and by that I mean building an internal brand. Now, whether you're agency or whether you're in-house, agency guys, you should really be asking, are the people I interact with, are my clients, are they really embedding this culture? Are they ensuring that they are talking about testing on a daily basis to anyone and everybody that will listen? Getting buy-in from the executive tier, I'll tell you how we did that. And then, it's all about continuously telling your story, PR, keep it going, and humor's your friend. We have an expression which says, once you're bored talking about it, you're 1/4 of the way there. And you need to keep going, you need to keep talking, you need to keep churning. It was good to see, actually, a snapshot of the poll there, that half of the guys are agency and the other half are in-house. So really pleased to see we've got quite a good mix. But along the way, there's going to be some reality checks. So even if you don't learn the greatest new conversion rate optimization trick, I just want you to take one thing away and say, I'm going to try that, or I'm going to get my customer to do it, and I'm going to change the way we work. So that's kind of the objective I've set for myself to get you guys to do. Right. To who we are, if people are still wondering. We're nearly a 300-year-old bank. So for the Americans in the room, hope you enjoyed the 4th of July, but we're still older than you, and we're still going. We've got 15 million customers in the UK. Quite a big customer set. Obviously, great, they all have to authenticate themselves in financial services. We know who we are. We have data coming out of our ears. We've got 90,000 staff. Can anyone top that in the company they work for? So, all right, I'm the biggest company here. And our aim is to be the #1 bank in the UK for service, advocacy, and trust. Doesn't mention sales, doesn't mention revenue, doesn't mention size. We were once the biggest bank in the world, but 2008 went a bit wrong. Anyway, we've got multiple brands. I'm talking about RBS and NatWest today. They're our high street brands. They're what people in the UK know. They're what they see. They're what they expect. We've got a few more. One we like to talk about is Coots. Coots is essentially there to separate the mere wealthy from the rich. Okay? It's not really, don't worry. But it does count, or it does have the Queen as a client. So even if you think everything else I say today is bullshit, I get to optimize for the Queen, and you have to admit that's actually quite cool. Anyway, moving on. I feel like we're friends now, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is how we used to do digital. Firework culture, absolute bullshit. Some lovely fireworks Monday night. It was good to see. But we used to have this firework culture. It was you light it, you run away, it goes bang, and everyone claps. Round of applause. We've changed something, we've published something live, we've changed the digital experience. But there were so many problems with it. It was done on gut feel. They were tweaking it under other updates. There was too much emotional investment for it to fail. Okay, we'd spent millions on it. It had to work. Made worse by the fact the guy who did it or the team who did it would send out an email saying, guys, I've just changed this for our customers. I've changed this experience. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Great. Another round of applause. And then an executive would follow up. So someone quite senior sends another email. This is amazing. This helps us achieve all of our goals. Congratulations. Well done, everyone. Utter bullshit. Utter bullshit. How had it changed anything? How did they know? Where's the data? Where's the proof? So they were celebrating the launch, and they weren't celebrating the success. So this was our starting point 2 years ago. That's being quite honest for you guys there. And this was ultimately what was happening. So I think it was Craig who can kind of predict 60% of what you should do depending on a certain situation. We actually found out or measured that 80% of what we did or launched worked in a different way to which we thought it would. 80% reacted differently. Not that we had a hypothesis or any logic or criteria in there. 80% of what we did not work in the way we expected. So we had to change it. We had to carry on. Does anyone's analytics report still look like this? We all, come on, one person. No? Right, good. We're all more advanced than this. It's obviously not real data, but this is how it looked for a long time. Terrible. Talking about traffic, talking about sales. We got the conversion rate optimization in there as well, and marketing. What marketing are we doing? We got any pure play analysts? Any hardcore analysts in the room? Can anyone spot a trend in that? No? I'll give you a hint. Can you spot the trend now? Fucking Beatles songs, right? The guys were so bored and hating what they were doing, they were playing games. They were trying to put as many songs as they could from a single artist into their emails. Who's seen Super Troopers? The movie Super Troopers? Right, I'll throw a few meows in throughout this presentation. If you haven't seen the movie, watch it. There's a great scene where he convinces his friend to meow as much as he can. And it's essentially the same thing. And this is what they were doing, and it went from there. Now, there was a Michael Jackson week. At the end of the day, you should have seen it. You couldn't beat it. Fucking hell, it's too early for some, isn't it? Right, that's a Michael Jackson song. I'll be honest, my boss is a hippo. He wrote that joke, I had to say it. That's why I got it slightly wrong as well. Anyway, moving on. So that's what we used to do. Here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, my real job title is the head of Superstar DJs. That is what I'm known at RBS and what people understand as our brand. People are really thinking, what the hell is going on now? A 300-year-old bank, 90,000 people, and he looks after Superstar DJs. I'll tell you what it is. This is why we said DJs. We wanted our guys to work like DJs. Hopefully, a bit less drug taking and a few more morals. Still debatable, that bit. But more importantly, it was about connecting with your audience, experimenting with content, Segmentation, A DJ wouldn't play the same songs they do in London as they would to their Miami crowd. Hopefully you're starting to see kind of the relationship here. Working in close time, doing it all yourself, and understanding all the equipment you have. So we wanted to work like DJs. So we called ourselves DJs. It's all about being fearless, and this is our internal brand. So this is the story through it. So whilst I present, I'm going to be using a few different words I need to quickly explain. Journey managers. Journey managers for us are our digital frontline. These are the guys who look after the website. They can either be content editors, the developers, UX, UI, digital center of excellence. All of these guys we call journey managers, but we refer to them as DJs. Analytics, we call ourselves producers. Quite an obvious relationship there. We work together, we have a collaboration, we help them find their sound, we help them find their song, we help them fine tune. If they have any questions about the technology, we help them with it. So we have this relationship as you would in the music industry as well. So how did we do it? This is the very beginning. What did we actually do to make this all happen? First of all, we had to get journey managers. So we started off, small pot of people, changed the way we were doing it, got rid of a few agencies, and then we implemented them, brought them in-house, and gave them a CMS they could use. Right, banking is slightly behind in the world. CMS is not that advanced, but we had to bring them a CMS so they could change it all themselves. Put a tag management system in place. Great speech yesterday, Mercer, wasn't it, on tag management. Do not underestimate how important tag management is. And I would actually challenge yourself to say, how much do you know about your company's tag management? Because if you don't know it, you can't be asking the right questions. And I'll also say, in a bank where I work, bad data, as in bad data, is worse than no data. I'd prefer to start from scratch, get it right, know what I can implement, know what I can change, rather than sifting through bad data, people making decisions on bad data, and not knowing where it is to fix it. So really do challenge yourself to understand your tags and your implementation. That is a legitimate graph of our technological stack there. That's how much fun it was. The thing is, people who look after content, websites, optimization, they don't give a damn about technology stacks. So what we just had to do was ensure they believed in the data. What did we do then? Democratize the data. The data belongs in the room. Really difficult for analysts, this one, guys. For some reason, they love it's my data, my toys, leave it with me. No one knows how to read this or do it. Disagree. We brought it into the room. At the time, they built 110 live dashboards. Right? Arguably one of the more boring things you would ever do in analytics. But they built them all, and every journey manager who looks after a service, who looks after a product, had their dashboards. And they could go and do their own reporting. They could pull their own MI. Thank God. No one likes pulling MI, but we made them do it themselves. And we give them access to ClickTel and all the other systems we have. And then we come in. We help them answer the why. We help them create tests. We help them create hypotheses. And this is ultimately what we're trying to do. Anyone agree with that one? Anyone feel that in their own company? Right? It's a big dilemma. Analysis, testing, optimization compared to the resources. How can you do it? How can you get it to flip? How can you balance it? And, I'm going to rely on Gary Oldman here to tell you kind of how we did it and how we decided should be involved.
I told you. Betty, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone!
It was a real enactment of the meeting we had in RBS, in the room when we said, right, who should do this? Who can do this? Fucking everybody, right? I'm sorry if you are a specialist and you see it as your job and you need to understand how it all works and how the tools work. For us, we made a decision to say everybody should do this. It shouldn't just be us as the specialists in the corner doing it on behalf of the bank. So we decided to train up the front line. And we ended up in this kind of cycle where we were testing, learning, collaborating, testing, learning, collaborating, sharing, and we got scale up, we got momentum. And it was such an amazing feeling when you start to get into it. And transparency was kind of the key part into this. We didn't hide away. Just to say we are a full stack Adobe client if I refer to Target or AM or things like that. This is the Adobe Marketing Cloud. Everything we did, any analysis, any reports, any tests, we put in the cloud for everyone to see. People started having conversations on them saying, I've seen this is great. Can I do this? Can I share this? Challenge yourself to say, do we have an area where we can share all of our learnings, all of our insights, and give everyone access? Because once people can start logging in and seeing it themselves, they'll start to buy into it, especially if you get a few on board who are really good and a few who are pretty shit. When they see the really good guys, like, actually, I'm going to have to start doing this, they're making such a difference, and I'm just kind of stood here doing nothing. So share everything you can. Paul's probably going to have a go at me after this, vanity number time. H1, 2014, 2 specialists, 2 tests completed, and we had 6 guys in digital analytics. Come 2015, my ego's going through the roof, Paul. 70 optimization specialists, 400 tests, and I've got a team of 10. Okay, so my team's not grown considerably, but we're up to 70 specialists and 400 completed tests. Bear in mind, we're a bank. It takes me 5 days to change a piece of copy on a website because we have to submit it to compliance. Then we have to hope it's compliant. Then we get a red mark. Then we resubmit it. Then it comes back and say, yes, you can publish it. 5 days. And we did 400 tests in 2015. Am I going to get in trouble for that one? It was a bit too close to vanity. But we're proud of it, and it shows the scale, and it shows the speed we've managed to build up. So it's all about owning the moment. Owning the moment for our customers, owning the moment for our guys. Any digital touch point where we interact with them, we should know what's going on, and we should be able to change it and optimize it for the best experience for our customers, no matter what the intended purpose of it is. So I'm going to talk about people next, because DJs need the right equipment and right training, and this is how we did it, this is how my team approached it, and how we changed the culture. We started off with this nucleus in the middle, where my guys, my team, they went to conferences, they went to training. You know, we hired agencies, we brought in the experts and trained them up. They went to Adobe's training, did the certificates, and they spent a lot of time making sure they were by far the best in the bank at doing this type of thing. And then they expanded it. Internal training sessions. It was then up to them to tailor internal sessions to ensure that everyone in digital knew how to read data, knew how to create a hypothesis, knew how to use tools, knew how to log into Adobe Target, and build up that scale, getting up to those 70 people. So very much a train the trainer approach. Challenge your clients or challenge yourself internally to say, am I training up enough people in this bank so that this starts to spread naturally throughout? And a really important one. So technical skills, love them, great. But you need to think and speak the same language as the business. Not like an analyst or an optimizer, guru, Jedi, ninja, whatever you call yourself. And I see so many people get this wrong. It's unbelievable. And a few other people actually said this in their presentations, which I was glad to see. If you have a PhD in statistics, if you enjoy writing algorithms at the weekend, no one cares. All right? If I'm going into a meeting with a senior manager, he doesn't care. He just wants to know how I can help him, how I can help our company progress. So we really do need to start speaking and talking the way the business will speak rather than as an analyst. So I challenge you to think about that. You know, it was Albert who said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Probably not true, because you lot probably do understand it too well. If you're trying to show off how clever you are, I recommend let's bring it down a notch. And a few mentions of HIPPO. So remember, highest paid person's opinion. If you don't kind of go in there with this advanced speak, technical language, they don't tend to get the backs up as much. If you go in there saying, I understand your challenge, I'm going to help you because I'm going to make our experience better for our customers, and kind of leave it there if you can. They're not going to challenge you. They're going to say, great, go away. Try and do it. You'll get that buy-in easier. So challenge yourself, less technical speak. And then this is what we did as well. Segmentation at its finest. This, ladies and gentlemen, we had tiers, and we evaluate everyone in digital in RBS at how good they are in analytics, at optimization, at testing. And we start off with bedroom DJs. These guys are terrible, right? They might be able to log into Adobe Analytics if they're lucky. New starters really don't know what they're doing. Anyone guess what's next? Next level of DJ, what would you go for? We'll go with that, Craig Sutherland. I'd call him a wedding DJ, that's a good shout. Wedding DJs, this was the next level. These guys can manipulate reports, they start understanding data, they start understanding insights. Okay, what are we doing? Where are we going? Club DJ, we're getting good. We're getting paid, we're making a difference, we can create a hypothesis, we can really understand the reports and change the way with things we're doing. And obviously, finally, the holy grail, the superstar DJ. We don't have enough of them, I'm not going to lie. I'm quite happy when most people get into club DJs. But what this allows, more importantly, is when we're looking internally to say, how good are people actually really at doing this? Then it allows us to tailor our training. It even allows me to go to their line managers and say, he's really good, but he's really shit. He needs to get better, otherwise we're going to take the tools off him and we're not going to let him play anymore. That way you can really start to put pressure on people and say, you need to get better, this is part of it. We took it so far, we managed to have this written into their objectives. So their mid-year reviews, their end-of-year reviews, which determine their bonuses, which determine their pay, it is part of their objectives. It is in the culture, it is built into everything that these guys do. So, if you are agency staff, you're probably thinking, does this apply to me? Just challenge yourself to say, are the guys I work with, are my clients, are they really good enough? Are they good enough to be having conversations with the rest of their company and ensuring that optimization, conversion rate optimization is a top subject throughout? So that's what we did. Obviously, we kept it going through the music theme. And truly, truly understand your journeys. Now, we used to think we behaved like this, or our customers behaved like this. They'd stay on the web, research adopt service. The telephony, research adopt service. The worst part was the individuals that worked in these parts of the bank thought it worked like that as well. And they would say, these are my customers, they're my sales. It's just not true. That is realistically how it looks for our guys. This is a purchase journey for many of our customers. And it was starting to understand that, and it doesn't matter what data you can get your hands on. We're lucky in RBS Analytics, we've got 700 people in the wider team. Right? That's quite a big analytics team. And we have some very clever people, big data, omni-channel, who can do the analysis and say, this is how people are interacting, this is the attribution models we're using, and this is what we can see. But the reality is you need to start to really understand your journeys to say, am I optimizing? Are we converting the customers in the right place at the right time? Take it a step further if you can. Where are valuable customers? How many of you kind of do analysis on your valuable customer sets and then segment based on that? Just one. Okay, if you're a big enough company, you can take this further. You can do things like when they're in the queue and telephony center, you skip the good ones through. People are going, what, do you really do that? Yes, a lot of companies really do that. Like, treat your best customers in the way you want to. You can get rid of other customers if you want to get rid of customers. But this was our analysis to say what time of day, who does what, total transactions, total value. Really useful to kind of drive our story home, say, we all know digital's the future here, but unfortunately, the head of branch doesn't really believe that. And we can do this type of insight. And this ultimately led to this. Do we really understand our key journeys? Were we optimizing in the right places? And for us, it was about optimization outside of just the digital channels as well. Or are we handing off leads correctly? Because people who do drop out, we call it the 3 Fs, friction, foresight, and failure. We heard motivation on Monday being more important than friction. But we look at those and identify these journeys, the more important ones. What can we do? How do we hand off a lead? How are we pushing it through? So really start to consider, do you really, really understand your journeys, especially if you have multi-channel experiences? Right, the fun bit. Program awareness, aka the PR factory. I like to joke, half of my job's PR, half of my job's looking after my team. To get executives on board, solve the problems. There's so many people who I speak to who say, we can't get buy-in at the exec level, can't do it, they don't care. It's just a lie, right? If you have an executive who doesn't have a problem, your company's got a problem. In fact, you probably should leave sometime soon before something goes wrong. You have to just solve the problems and understand it. And this is the way we did it. We understood their challenges, and whether that was going to their staff, going to their assistants, their personal assistants, or their secretaries and saying, what are they concerned about? What can we do? You can identify the opportunity, you can find it, and you can even build the test for them. So create the hypothesis, build a test, have it all set up. But the important thing for us was we let them press the play button. Right? They logged into Adobe Target, and they set it live. And then we showed them results. So now they've got some skin in the game. Now it's their test. Now they're interested. Show them results. Hopefully, if you've done your job well, their positive results, and then give them bragging rights, right? Try and do it before an important meeting. If they've got a board meeting, if they've got an exec meeting, try and do it just before them, align it with their personal secretaries, and give them bragging rights. And they'll go in like, guys, conversion rates, optimization, analytics, love these guys, look at this cool stuff they can do. Just get your timing right, and trust me, it works. I'll skip the story, but this happened to me when I was in marketing, where the analytics guys did this with the marketing director, and it basically resulted in me getting an email saying, did you know about conversion rate optimization? This stuff's awesome, why don't we do more of it? And it just shows you the power. If you get it right and you get the timing, you do get that buy-in. Very quickly then, we launched a new current account. All it does is you get money back based on you paying for your bills from our account. Nice and simple. Pep's favourite, we'll do a which test one. I'm kidding, we're not going to do it, we won't vote. Just to very quickly explain them though. The one on the left was very much the marketing messaging, 3% back on your rewards. This is our online banking logout page where people have just done something and are about to leave. And what we try and do is bring them back in. We personalise 90% of the traffic to this page. And then a challenger, which actually using, another thing Mercer said yesterday, using customer attributes, we capture data in online banking and dynamically change the page. So this was a calculation to say, you could have earned £15 back the previous month if you had this account with us. It's quite a nice little test. Obviously, the challenger absolutely whooped it, which is fine, so no voting, don't worry, Pep. But what was interesting about this, who do you think did it? Like, was it a journey manager? Who came up with it? Who thought about it? Well, it wasn't any of them. They are the lovely journey managers. This is the C-suite. Marketing director, head of customer experience. That's my boss's boss down there. He's the head of analytics. If you think I've got a shit job title, his is the data guy. Don't trust me, look him up on LinkedIn. And this is the C-suite. 80% of our C-suite's logged into Adobe Target and has published a test. So they've all been there, they've all published a test. They understand optimization and what it can bring to the bank. So it was indeed one of them. Obviously, it's this guy. We don't like to talk about him anymore because he has gone to HSBC since. But he was the head of the direct bank at the time. And it was him that said, we need to be telling people what they're missing out on. Okay? He knew about Superstar DJs, he knew the program, and he came to us and said, can we tell our customers what they're missing out on? Yes, we can. Let's find out a way. And we did. 80% of the C-suite logged in, published a test. And it keeps going, and the PR keeps going. Landing the Exco record deal, I've called it. Every week, every Friday, we send out a newsletter. Superstar DJ's newsletter has recommended soundtracks. It has some learnings in there. It has something we're really proud about. Every Friday goes to 1,000 people in the bank. Okay? Really driving that PR, really driving the engagement. More importantly, it's got the charts in there. Of weekly charts, who did the best test, who came up with a hypothesis, etc., etc. We're creating a game for them. We're getting competition in there, so everyone wants to be involved. That's obviously our 2015 awards where people won the best DJ, the best track, etc. Christ, when I bought those trophies, I expected them to be a bit bigger. As you can see from the photo, they're the size of someone's hand. But hey, anyway, that one's a bit more impressive. That was the one before where we had the gold disc. But these are on the desks. These are on the wall, right? We're a bank. And we've got trophies about optimization sitting around the desks. The live tour, I've been so happy these past few days. It was mentioned twice, if not 3 times. Go and see your Frontline. No matter what you do, go and spend time with them. At RBS, we do actually have to, every quarter, we have to have visited the Frontline. That's kind of everyone in the headquarters. And for us, we did an actual tour. Created the T-shirts, which cities we went to, what centres we visited. There's my, the head of analytics wearing the T-shirt again. We created infographics. We did the bloody lot just to show this is what we can do, and this is what happens. I'm just going to show you a quick video so you can stop listening to my monotone Mancunian voice for a bit.
Superstar DJs is a program that we introduced around 6 months ago, and this is about data-driven optimization. Now, what that means is that we're using data to show where customers are struggling using the digital experience, using our websites.
Customers are interacting with the website. They have a variety of different issues. Registration is one that crops up quite a bit.
I think you find most of the calls like we get, we're explaining how to get onto online banking, how to register.
Customers would struggle with finding the customer number online.
There's loads of different things that maybe could be more put into the online banking so they can see it and know that the help is there.
We want to get the strength of all these customer conversations we had to make the digital experience for our customers simple as easy as possible. Staff are our greatest asset. They speak to our customers every day. The engagement we've seen in this has been fantastic. We said only 3 weeks ago, tell us where customers are struggling. We'll analyse it, find the biggest ones we should be going after first, and then we're coming back and you're going to do the test. I think there was an initial stage where there was a buzz about the floor. It was palpable. You could see that when people were submitting these ideas, they were very excited about it. So we're here today sat with the agents that submitted the original ideas, and they're actually making the changes themselves. So they're changing the website.
And here we have Superstar DJs Live Manchester. We're going to capture those customers.
I think you get the gist. There's the evidence that we do actually do it. I think the main thing you can take away from that is the Frontline love it as well. They really do enjoy it. They feel like, oh, someone's listening to me. Similar to the story we had on Monday. They are listening to me. They are going to change it. We went back. We let them publish the tests. Since then, we created an inbox just for them. We get 200 ideas a year coming through from the Frontline who still remember those sessions, who still want to be part. Oh, our customers just complain about this. I think you guys can help fix it. It's such a great source of ideas and a great way of doing it. And for us, having a PR schedule, every company's got one. I think most of you will have one. Does your team have one? Do you have an optimization one? Are you always talking about it? Are you always ensuring it's at the forefront of everyone's mind, whoever touches digital in that company? So that's obviously not ours. It's impossible to get documents out of the bank, but we do have one very similar. And then this is what happens. We love it, we want it. We had other areas of the bank who we do not touch or have anything to do with. I had HR the other week saying, can you come and talk to us about how you change the culture? Everyone wants this, everyone understands it, everyone gets it. You just need to build that culture and ensure people are aware of it. And then keep sharing. So be willing to share. Share everything you do. Do not sit there in the corner being that specialist. Get it out there. But also learn how to say no. So it's very hard. Stakeholder management, you want everyone to like you. Right? I get it. It's very hard. But you have to learn how to say no. Say no to simple MI requests. Say no to, well, essentially terrible tests. Let's get rid of bullshit optimization, another chat there. And you have to be able to do that. And keep embedding this self-serve approach. We've done share the learnings. So what next? Just to quickly wrap it up before Pep pulls me off the stage. Keep doing cool things. So for us, we've managed to now personalize from the website into the app. Based on what you're doing, our app experience now changes, just trying to skip through it, so the messaging changes accordingly because we've got Adobe Target into the app. Very powerful for a small team of ours to be able to do that because the CEO knows about this, everybody knows about this, we've got this live. But then you can get into testing, so a very simple one there for us, the fear of loss versus the power of gain, essentially, simple behavioral economics. But what's next? We're just going to keep doing what we do. This is all within the last 3 months, presenting everywhere we can in RBS, telling people about it, training, getting it up there, ClickTail down there, other presentations. And why? I heard common sense a lot throughout this conference. Unfortunately, guys, it should be a bloody superpower, common sense. Common sense is not common practice, right? So even if you do outsource this, train everyone up and get everyone doing it, you've still got a job. Because there's still not enough common sense and not enough people that get it. And it comes back to this. And this is the rubber band principle. Anyone know this one? You stretch a rubber band, it never goes back to what it was at the beginning, but it goes a hell of a lot back to normal again, right? People's behavior is they go back to what they used to, and they don't really like change. So for us, we've got to keep going. We've got to keep doing this. We've got to keep talking about it and making sure this really does stick. So that's the rubber band principle. So that's it from me. I really do hope you at least go away with one thing, is that I'm going to do this differently, or I'm going to change this, or I'm going to approach this differently. So thank you very much, and thanks for your time.